Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rage, and we are back today to break down once again another weekly event in the Phoenix Force Fitness. So with this event anyways, it's going to be the second for this monthly, but as well, there's actually no character shards getting featured here. But if you do want to be adding a sizable amount of points to the monthly event, on top of that, there's also skill gear as well as purple ISO 8 ions that you can capitalize on, especially for those of you that haven't finished unlocking Odin for Dark Dimension 8, or if you're planning to build up obviously some spotlight raid teams, especially now that we have the Uncanny Avengers being finished up with Hercules, his introduction coming this very week. So obviously some things that we do need to pay attention to, especially if you want to be participating in the end game. So how are you going to score points? There's a couple of things that we need to be mindful of, and then I'll show you guys the breakdown and the calculation of how free to play friendly this event will be. But in essence here, we're earning these Phoenix Fitness Orb fragments from ISO 8 campaign nodes. We're battling in war with Hercules and Absolute 8 Force characters. Now this is very interesting because in the data mines, we actually saw that it only required it only allowed us to achieve the bonus points with the 3 newest characters for Absolute 8 Force. But now with this revision here, it does seem like the older characters, Wasp and Ironheart, it does seem like we're going to be able to take advantage of those 2 characters to give us the bonus points here. So you don't actually need, you know, Kahori, Medusa, or as well as Miss Marvel Classic. You want to make sure that you maximize on this event. But remember, another big one for this is the fact that if you are competing and you're trying to do as well as you can with the other players and you're planning to spend a bit, there are actually 3 diamonds available for Jean Grey as well as XP. So top 10 receiving enough for a full level payout will happen after the level cap increase. So that's very, very interesting. It's the first time that they've ever included this. So a nice little incentive for those that want to spend and obviously push. But top 10, you know, that's not going to be our target. Obviously, we just want to see what the bare minimum is and how do we maximize our resources, but at the same time, still be efficient in terms of being competitive and, you know, landing the goals that we want to be aiming for. So yeah, that in a nutshell is going to be the scoring there, guys. But I do want to point out as well, there's another component tied back to this, which is the web milestone component. This is the spending of the uncanny energy. Now with this one, it's pretty notable. I believe there's 36,000 points in total, so you can hit the chart here and actually view it. But yeah, it's important to note here that they have kind of elevated the difficulty of these. Usually before it was like, you know, the snow globes, the turkeys, the candies, pretty easy to hit, but you do actually need to spend a bit of power cores to actually maximize on some of these rewards. So at 34,000 points, milestone 8, this is what we want to be aiming for, because it's going to allow you to maximize on all the Fitness Orb fragments and milestone points. And anything beyond that, you do have to core a bit more. But in order to hit this milestone 8, it's going to be 100 cores per day. So you got to refresh twice for an additional 200 energy on top of the 288-ish that you would be typically earning and generating naturally from just time. If you are missing those and you're not using it on time, then that's when you would need to core more. But for a safe, conservative measurement here, 100 cores to 150 cores per day is going to allow you to maximize on milestone 8, which is all the points that you'll be needing, which is about 36,000, give or take. Now we can start taking a look at the overall chart here before I show you the math. But you can see in this chart here, we got the orange dumbbells, we got gold promotion credits, but more importantly, like I said earlier, there are the, you know, coveted T3 level 1 ions that you want to be getting for, because this is not, you know, readily available in the game. You need this for Spotlight, you need this for Dark Dimension 8 progression. So that's kind of what I'm gunning for as well, just to kind of bank that for future, because I have a feeling that the next Dark Dimension is likely going to be the T3 level 5, which could very well be the next bottleneck as a requirement for participating in Dark Dimension 9. And the big one here obviously being the stopwatch, because the stopwatch here is going to add a sizable amount of points to the monthly, which is also going to help you get more shards of Medusa completely free to play. But if you take a look at the scoring here, this is what's interesting, right? As I noted earlier, you're going to be earning Fitness Force milestone points. You're going to be getting orb fragments from the ISO 8 campaign. Battling in war is going to give you 72,000, and then as well, using Absolute 8 Force characters, which includes obviously the older ones, it's also going to give you some points there, which we can take advantage of. If you have Hercules, it's also going to give you points as well. So let's put this all together now. Let's break it down in terms of how free to play friendly it's going to be. So once again, to rehash, guys, Phoenix Force Fitness is 7 days to 8 days. I know typically in the past, that's the average here. On the chart, it says 8 days. So that extra day could be very helpful, obviously, to give us that extra ISO 8 campaign energy. But assuming it's 7 days for now, for the purpose of this calculation, in the past, they've used 4 points per energy utilized. So that's 30,800 points, considering that you're not using any power cores whatsoever. We have the participation in war across the week for those 3 matches. That's going to give you an easy 75,000 points. And now this is where it gets interesting. in the data mines, it suggested that we actually needed the Absolute A-Force new characters to get the bonus points. But in this case now, based on this chart that they provided, it seems like it is going to actually count the older characters that we can utilize, right? So if we are able to use those past characters here, so again, that's Wasp and as well as Ironheart, if they can be utilized for this event, that's going to give us an easy 54,000 points, making sure that they're not on defense, so you can take advantage of the bonus points you'll be getting from those two characters being part of that team. And then last but not least, once again, the showcase energy being utilized for the web milestone is going to give us 36,000. But in order to actually maximize the web milestone, we do actually need to be spending 100 cores per day. That gives you 2 refreshes for an additional 200 energy that you can add back to the event, and that's going to give you 36,000 in total. Adding all this up, assuming it's 7 days and not 8 days, it's going to be 195,800 points. Now, if it is 8 days, it's going to be very, very close, because as you can see, milestone 14 at 174,000 points, that's going to get you all the available T3 ions. So that's a total of 230,000 at that point. So I think if you need ISO 8 purple, that's going to be a really good goal to aim for. But obviously, the big goal here for this event anyways, outside of character shards that are typically featured, is going to be that stopwatch, because the stopwatch adds the monthly points that you're going to be needing, especially if you want to capitalize on more of those Medusa Absolute A-Force shards. So milestone 15, 198,000. It is going to be free to play friendly, but you are going to be looking to spend at least some power cores here and there, whether it's going to be a bit in ISO 8 campaign, depending on how close you're going to be by the end of this 7 to 8 day event. And as you can see right here with this math, we're not too far off. We're actually only 2,200 points away. But remember, there's also the daily free claims that you're also getting. So this likely will get you there if you're planning to, go all the way to the stopwatch, making sure that you use the 100 cores per day in the showcase energies. So that way you can get this to the finish line and then top it up with the free claim. And then whatever's remaining, if you're not able to hit it, you can actually use ISO 8 campaign energy refreshes there to get you there. So in a nutshell, guys, overall, it's actually a really good event. It's free to play friendly. There's purple ISO 8 ions, and it's gonna be easy to hit. And I'm planning to do that as well, because I do want to obviously capitalize on the monthly event festivities. So hope this is helpful. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.